There's another one. All right. Oh! Oh!
Feeling better now, guys. Thanks for asking and thanks for tuning in. My name's Steve Cooper. You're watching In Deep on the Delta, and this is the weekly Delta fishing report for March 11th. We're going to get right into it. We're going to cover Clear Lake, the mother lode, and Delta stripers real quick, and then we'll get into the meat of the program, which is going to be the largemouth bass on the Delta. Start with Clear Lake, and I don't need to talk a whole lot about Clear Lake. BBT had their tournament last week. 95 boats. 33.7 to win. Not bad. Check this out. 4 bags over 30 pounds. Big fish was 11.8. 8 fish over 7 pounds. 18 fish over 6 pounds. And 32 fish over 5 pounds. 95 boats. 49th place had 17 pounds. So it took 33 to win. 17 was mid-level out of 90 boats. That's good fishing. I can tell you right now, Clear Lake is on. Talked to Clear Lake Bait and Tackle. They did suggest that it's not in spawn right now, so don't go up there and look for fish on beds. The bigger fish are still holding off in a pre-spawn pattern. That big 11.8 was caught on a 10X crankbait in about 17 feet of water right over a rock pile. So the bigger fish are still off the points and getting ready. They're staging up, but they're going to be ready to spawn in a few weeks. If you go up there, check the weather, make sure the weather's stable. If we have a changing barometer, that could affect the weather or the fishing. So just make sure you check your weather, but now's the time you want to start going up to Clear Lake. Clear Lake Bait and Tackle also said they're taking a lot of fish on reaction baits like LV500s and larger crankbaits. They're also picking up some fish on jigs, but Clear Lake probably should start thinking about going up there if you like to fish up there. Mother lode is increasing also. I didn't talk to John Liechty from Experienced Guide Service this week, but I've talked to several people that have been fishing up there. They're all reporting really good fish. And I think the mother lode, whether you're fishing Comanche, New Maloney's, Hogan, down to Don Pedro, 10 to 30 feet of water, running the banks, throwing underspins, throwing jigs, throwing shaky heads, drop shots, worms. You're going to catch fish. Everything is on an upswing. I'm not here to do a full report, so mother lode, Clear Lake, looking really good. We're going to get right into the Delta now, and I'll start off with the stripers. I've been getting a lot of correspondence with people asking me about stripers. I know a lot of you guys are out there fishing for the striped bass. Fishing is increasing. Last week we reported that there was a big slug of fish in Sassoon Bay. Looks like they moved into the system, and they're in the system now. The bigger fish are coming off the Sacramento side. There are more fish in the San Joaquin, and the fish quality has actually gone up. Last week it was 20 to 22, 24-inch fish. Seeing a lot of 6, 7, 8 pound fish in the Delta, and there have been some bigger fish reported. They're all over the system, so you guys that are out there, go to your favorite spots. It doesn't matter if you're bait fishing, live bait, cut bait, throwing plugs, trolling. It seems like everybody's catching a few fish. I know the guys that are fishing around Paradise are using live bait, and they're staying real local, and they're catching fish. So everything's looking good, and as we get these rains, I think there's going to be more stripers coming into the system. So we got that out of our system. Now let's get into the Delta largemouth, and I want to start off with another tournament that we had here on the Delta. It was the Future Pro TOC. It was held out at Tower Park, and that was last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, 55 boats, and it is their Tournament of Champions, so this is the upper echelon of the fishermen that have been fishing the Future Pro circuit. 3 days of fishing. It took 79.3 to win the tournament. Here are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the winners' numbers. First day, 20.9. backed it up with a 29.4, and backed that up with a 28.9. Unbelievable. Great weights, and this time of year, phew, those guys had it going on. Here's the sad thing. Second place had a great day Friday, great day Saturday. They came in Sunday with a 32.9 pound limit and didn't win. I mean, I don't feel sorry for them, but come on, 32.9, that's a limit of a lifetime. You win any tournament on the Delta with a one day of a 32.9. So great job to all those guys. They had 5 bags over 25 pounds. Again, 54 boats. It took 78 pounds to win the tournament. 25th place though, daily, it was about an 11 pound average. So the guys that were in the middle of the pack were getting 10, 11 pounds, 11 and a half pounds. So that's more of a realistic weight that you can think about. Now I want you to listen to what I'm about to tell you right now, because it's going to be very important when I get done talking about what I've seen out there and what I've been doing. And it's going to be very important for you guys that are fishing the next few weeks, especially weekend anglers. The tidal coefficients for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were 92, 101, and 105. Big tides, lots of moving water. The other neat thing about that tournament is that the high tide started about 6:30 to 7 a.m. Basically about the same time the boats were leaving from the dock. First light, first save light, maybe a little bit later. It's never first safe light. But they were fishing that high tide, high outgoing tide with these big high tidal coefficients. Remember that. Very important, because what we're going to talk about at the end of the program, it's going to be pretty exciting for you guys, I think. So let's get into what I've been doing out there. And again, I've been on the water about 3 days last week, and I've talked to a lot of people on the water. I've talked to a lot of people on the dock, and I've gotten a lot of phone calls and a lot of correspondence. And we're also combining that with all of the reports that I've gotten from Hook, Line, and Sinker out in Oakley and Outdoor Sportsman here in Stockton. So I'm getting a lot of information. I think it's going to be, hopefully it's going to be pretty helpful to you guys. So water conditions are almost perfect. Water temperatures are holding steady at 55, 56. Midday when the sun comes out, they're 57, 58. Pretty soon they're going to be that 59, 60, and then things are going to really take off. But water temperatures are great. Clarity is anywhere from 2 to 4 or 5 feet, maybe even 6 feet in back of some of the sloughs. It's pretty clear. When the wind kicks up, it may knock the clarity down for a day or two, but we get a tide that flushes out, and it's it's back to normal. So conditions are perfect. I have seen an upswing in my fishing, and everyone that I talk to is getting more fish to a T. It's that time of year, so things are perking up. With that being said, look for your increases to be incremental. Don't think you're going to go out there and catch 30 pounds of fish like we had last week. If you're catching 3 or 4 fish a week or two ago, you're probably going to come out and catch 7 or 8 fish. Or if you're getting 10 or 12 pounds, you might bump that up to 13, 14, 15 pounds. It's going to be incremental. You don't just come out here and start catching 30-pound bags. So just kind of put that on the side for right now. We were out yesterday. I was with a friend, Travis, and we looked around for about 4 hours in the morning, and I wanted to see if I can start to find fish in shallow. I went to a lot of my historical prime spawning banks, and I'm not seeing a lot of fish in shallow. I actually didn't see anything in shallow. There's not a lot of males. The males aren't in there yet. There's no females. There's no sign of fish digging bed. So it's not spawn. This is pre-spawn and probably early pre-spawn. Think about that. These guys are getting 30-pound bags in pre-spawn. Wait till it gets into, that in a week, 2 weeks, and maybe even 3 and 4 weeks when they're in full pre-spawn spawn mode. There's going to be some huge bags coming out. But anyhow, yesterday we didn't see a whole lot of fish in tight. Matter of fact, I think out of all the looking we did, I scared a couple of fish that may have been 4 pounds out from the bank, but I don't think they were in there looking for spawning areas. I think they were just tucked in, probably looking to pick up a crawdad or something. As we came by, we spooked them out. So searched around for about 4 hours, did a little fishing, didn't get a darn thing. Decided we make a little move and fish some of the spots and actually get out and try to catch some fish. And in the last, I guess, 3 hours, we picked up about 10 or 12 fish, and nice quality fish. Most of them in that 2 1/4 to 3, maybe a little over 3. Not a 30-pound bag, but quality fish and pretty good numbers. We had some bites that we missed, and just steadily increasing on the production from what we've seen in the last week. We caught all of our fish on high outgoing tide. Remember what happened during the TOC, high outgoing tide. That's going to be a reoccurring situation here. Another thing that kind of corresponded with everything that we saw Future Pro, I know a lot of guys were fishing worms. I know a lot of guys were fishing chatterbaits in the tournament, but we had real high tidal coefficients during the weekend. As we were out yesterday and the last few days, the tidal coefficients were a lot smaller, and we had to kind of back off from the reaction baits and go to slow fishing worms. So the last few days for myself and everyone that I've talked to have been dark worms, fishing them slow on the bottom, high outgoing tide. When we get a little better tidal coefficient, we get a little water moving through there, I'm sure they're going to go back to the jerk baits and spinner baits and chatter baits. Oh, excuse me, did I say jerk baits? Chatter baits and spinner baits and crankbaits. Crankbaits have been effective, and most guys are throwing the crankbaits in the craw color. So those are the 3 or 4 things that I would be using on the Delta. So everything's looking good. It's time to get out, and for you guys that have been complaining about being a zero out there, now's the time you might come out and be a hero. So make sure you get out on the Delta when you get a chance. Here's what's really cool for the weekend anglers. Let's talk about the coming weekends, and we'll start with the weekend of the 20th, and we'll also talk about the weekend of the 27th. I think the weekend of the 20th, Saturday is would be the 20th, and Sunday the 21st. I'm not sure on that, but check that weekend. Tidal coefficient of 91 and 90. Very high tidal coefficients. The next weekend, Saturday, March 27th, tidal coefficient of 100. Sunday, it's 109, and Monday, 113. Those are crazy tides for that weekend on the 27th. Not only are the tides going to be really good on the weekends when you guys get to go fishing, but guess what? High tide is about 7 o'clock in the morning. So if you come out on a weekend at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're going to be able to fish that high outgoing tide and a really good strong tide for probably 3 or 4 hours. And I think you guys are going to have some really good weekend fishing. I'm going to be out there just because I can see what's going on with the tides. So that's the report. I have been talking to a few guys that say, hey, I'm starting to catch some fish, but I'm not getting the big fish. Well, it's a little early for that. The bigger fish will come, but for you guys that have been out there and looking for bigger fish and ready to catch some bigger fish, if you're using worms, my one suggestion would be, number one, slow down to a crawl. Make sure you're using some type of scent on your worms, because when you're fishing that slow, a lot of fish are going to come up and be able to sniff it and look at it. So I'm using either some hot sauce or some smelly jelly, whatever you use. Make sure you scent them up. The other thing that I would do is instead of fishing a 5-inch worm, I would definitely go to what do I got here? A 6 or a 7-inch worm. And one of the advantages of the bigger worms is not so much their size, but their bulk and their weight. With the bigger 6 and 7-inch worms, with the weather we're getting, the patterns coming through here, we're getting a little breeze. These worms will get down a little faster and hold on the bottom in windy conditions. So you can keep these bigger worms on the bottom and fish them slower. Remember, put a lot of hot sauce on them or whatever, because when they're moving slow, the fish are going to come up and get a chance to look at them and sniff them and touch them around a little bit before they eat them. But the bigger worms will get you bigger fish, and that might be a key for you to getting bigger fish. The other thing that I like to do is go to a 7-inch cut tail. No weight, Oh, and by the way, most of the fish we're getting are on weightless wacky Senkos right now. So weightless wacky, or if there's a little bit of wind, we may have to put a nail weight in the head and then fish them Nico. But the weights just to get down and keep them down in the wind. The other thing that I would suggest is going to a weightless 7-inch cut tail with an inline hook with no weight on it. And what you'll be able to do with this setup here is just throw it out, let it get to the bottom, and just slowly pull it through the weeds. Remember, a lot of hot sauce on this or whatever, and just work them real slow. And the bigger fish will take the bigger worms, slowly worked on the bottom. That is the report. Thank you guys for watching. Before that, I want to show a couple pictures. Jack and Tanner sent me this picture of a nice limit that they got. They said that Jack had said, hey, we had a slow day, but we ended up with a nice limit and bolstered by a 6.5 pound fish. Probably should give their email address out so that you guys can send them some correspondence and let them know what a slow day of fishing looks like on the Delta, because what they had was not a slow day of fishing, and I want to congratulate Jack and Tanner for that. Jay sent me another picture out in his kayak, and this is what you can expect. Some nice fish in that 2-pound class, just fun fish. Everybody's catching fish out there. Don't expect to get a 30-pound bag, but expect to have some fun. You may have been a zero in the past, but you're going to work towards being a hero here in the next couple weeks, I guarantee it. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Tell a friend about it, and heck, hopefully I'll see you guys out in the water, on the water in the next few weeks, and thank you guys for watching.